Nice to have you with us in the transfer show. Right, Crystal Palace have lost their appeal against being demoted from the Europa League, and so they'll play in the Conference League this season. What's the knock-on transfers? That's what we want to know. I'm going to throw some names at you. Mark Gay.
Well, look, you heard from the Palace chairman yesterday, Steve Parish, speaking at Wembley after they won the Community Shield. Mark Gahey has 1 year left on his contract. Now, Palace need him either to sign a new contract or they will reluctantly have to sell him this summer. Does that mean that a club is going to be able to sign him on the cheap? No, I don't think it does. We know clubs in the past, like Newcastle, like Spurs, have been interested in signing him. He's been linked with a move to Liverpool as well. I still think it's going to take big money to sign him.
But Palace can't let him go for free next season, Carve.
Well,
they can't play that game.
But look at it from the player's perspective. Just because Palace want to sell him, it doesn't mean that he has to leave Palace. Because maybe he's thinking, I would rather wait until next summer when I'm a free agent, because we know big clubs in Europe are willing to sign him as a free agent next summer. So it's an interesting situation. I think Steve Parish is pretty realistic. He knows there's a lot of interest in Mark Gahey. To be fair to Mark Gahey, I don't sense he is a player who is saying to Steve Parish, look, we've lost this appeal, we're going into the Conference League, I'm too good for the Conference League, I need to be playing Champions League football. He's not that kind of player.
But he could be playing Champions League football's the point.
Well, he could if a club make a good enough offer to tempt Crystal Palace to sell him. Crystal Palace have to be realistic. But Steve Parish, I've got to tell you, is not an easy person to negotiate with. You know, people have tried signing players from Crystal Palace before and have found it very difficult. My sense is, at the moment, though, Steve Parish is realistic. He knows that time is running out in the transfer window. Palace are not in the Europa League. Players need to come in, and maybe one or two players will have to leave as well.
Yeah, as you say, he's not an easy man to negotiate with, but he hasn't got the cards with that one. Has he got the cards with Eberechi?
Well, he does in the sense that Eze's got longer on his contract. So Crystal Palace don't have to sell him. He had a release clause in his contract, which I think has now expired. Now, I know a lot of Arsenal supporters, they would love to sign Eze in the next couple of weeks.
The player.
He's a fantastic player. I think Arsenal, my personal opinion, they've had a fantastic window as well. They've made some incredible signings. Signing Eze would be the icing on the cake. Of course, he was at Arsenal when he was a kid as well. But I think it's going to cost big money, and I don't know if Arsenal are going to make the kind of bid that is going to tempt Crystal Palace to sell him. Again, look at the scenes yesterday at Wembley. Look at the way Eze celebrated with all his teammates. Look at the unity within that squad. He's not a player who's ringing up Steve Parish today.